The first time Lach and I took a trip like this was 5 years back. Since then, we've ridden and raced alongside each other almost every day. But with Lach returning to the world tour and me hanging up my race wheels, we don't get the chance to ride that much anymore. And so we thought, with so long between drinks, it was time to get the band back together. This time to take a ride somewhere neither of us had ever ridden before. The Balkans, for a 1,600 kilometre journey into the shadow of the East.
Gus had the original idea. He sent me an article on the Albanian Alps, which I never even knew existed really. So I read that and was like, yeah, that actually sounds really cool. It's kind of one of the last untouched mountainous areas in Europe.
And then we thought, well, we may as well go to Istanbul because that's the gateway to the East, and so what better way to finish a trip across Europe by sort of leaving it or reaching its edge.
We go through Kosovo.
Brand new country, crazy history, and then it's Macedonia, same thing.
I actually have no idea what that's going to be like, except for Google Earth view. And then up through Bulgaria, into the mountains, and then into Turkey and across Turkey to Istanbul. I never even knew all these countries bordered each other. You heard them all separately, you realise wait, they're all next to each other. You just have a preconceived notion of what Eastern Europe is. I think that preconceived notion, you sort of yeah, I don't really feel like going there to ride my bike. But yeah, I guess we're ready. We have everything packed. Seems like we've got enough shit. I've been out of the game a little while, so I don't know. I can't really remember what I need. Team edition shoes. In case of snow. Should we get spikes? How much grip are these bad?
They've got a fair bit of grip. I've been walking around in them all day and I haven't fallen over once.
It's the exact moment when we didn't buy those, and in 2 days we're going to be
Bike box came pre-opened. At least it came though.
Well, we've arrived, we've lost a bag, so Gus doesn't have any clothes. And we got the rent-a-car, which we were supposed to now drive into Albania, which is only 60 or 70 k's. But we're not going to fit our bikes in the car. We didn't really think about that, to be honest. So now we're just going to ride there, right here from the airport. Seems simple enough.
You have certain spots. Where do you want to stay, or
No, we don't know. We have an idea of the route, but we don't know which. It's more or less.
so tomorrow we are dead and
Yeah.
good.
This is the new road.
That's the easier.
Easier. We go the hard way.
Yes.
Femi the fixer. We found Femi in the most roundabout way a week and a half before the trip. We get a call from an Australian friend of ours who lives in Italy, who was working in Istanbul. He had a colleague who was from Kosovo, who had a cousin, and his cousin was having coffee with a translator. That translator was Femi. Femi speaks 5 languages. He's from Kosovo, has a Macedonian passport, and has never been a fixer before.
It's 90 k's. We're going 90 k's straight up into the mountains. But I think it's a lot of climbing, so it's going to be longer than it sounds.
And then Thef's like a tiny village, 100 and something people. It was snowing there yesterday, we've been told by Femi. So it's a beautiful sunny day now. I guess we should enjoy it while we have it.
This is the cycling capital of Albania. I read it last night. So far I've seen 4 people on bikes. There you have it.
We're in the mecca of cycling and we didn't even know it. Accidentally.
We are about halfway on the road to Perth, not quite. Maybe like 30 k's out of town. This amazing road that like is just incredible, but it's just like we're immediately like way the fuck out of here. Like, this place is proper, like super friendly, super nice, but like a heavy scene. This dog has obviously not been patted in a very long time because he's in absolute heaven right now.
Ku do me shku? Nuk mund kallesh, nuk mund shkojsh me ta. Për mua vazhdoni, nuk ka problem.
He says that there's no chance.
Dhe dhe shkojmë deri te funi I asfaltit.
And we spoke with this guy and he told us it's impossible to go with a car.
Okay.
This way, with this car. Because afterwards it's snowy, the mountains, and it's impossible to get there with this car.
Okay.
So
I think you guys have to go down and go around.
move around the other
And then
way
we'll go through this way.
if you can, but you have snow on the halfway.
First aid kit, tubes, shoe covers. What else?
We'll race you. I feel like we could be in the dark now. Potentially.
Ask him if he can put a live location or something, so we can go with someone. No, they're joking. See some
Where are
lights.
you? Are you serious? Do you see lights? Do you see towns? If it's up the valley, if you're in the valley,
Near the river, just follow it up.
if you're in the valley, like down the valley, right? Yeah, share your location. Is your brother okay as well? Okay, we're coming. Okay, we're coming. Try to share our location. Yeah. The update is that they're lost. They don't see the towns. They don't see lights because I think they're like down in the valley. And he just told me that he's been fucked. I mean, I can't understand it. And then that they don't know where is it. Like they don't know where's this place. So they're gonna share the location with us and then.
Try to find him.
Yeah.
So we can use his car
Yeah.
because it's better,
Higher?
it's higher. Use it for these roads. Sepse e kam kom rrugën, shumë rrugën, s'tash na dërgojnë së Marat.
Also in Chelsea and Manel, non cadde rotterdam.
Jana offer to go. He's asking like for 40-50 euros to go to the concrete road. Kilometer big.
Tell him that we give him anything. Let's go.
Hadi. Beş at. Just ask him if he saw them. Should hope it.
Yeah, but maybe it's fine. We needed a car like this.
Yeah. Moja mi drita.
He was fine. He was like, come and pick me up. You want water?
Eminem saved my life. Because all the roads were like this one.
Yes. All the we also it's impossible.
It was impossible. It was just so bumpy. I was just burning along. It feels like you're further out than you are. Like you're only 50 k's away from that town, but it's like... Imagine I out here. A regular road, a regular road is not a road necessarily.
No.
Now you know.
But it was, we were out there.
Ooh, yeah. Dude, I haven't buckled like that in such a long time. I don't know if I just booted myself into it, but like, fucking hell, it went bad real quick. It's hell out there.
Your brother looks pretty good though. Your brother, as soon as he saw me, oh yeah, I'm fine. I think the hike tomorrow is not a good idea, guys.
I have to be insane or get crazy to keep up with you guys. Cheers.
What's the go?
Woof. This is huge. Check it out.
It's hissing down rain and probably snowing a little bit higher. But our trusty guide's wearing like a pair of sneakers and a pair of jeans, and he's going to go over and back today, so can't be that bad. When we first wanted to go to Albania, it was because of the Albanian Alps, and when we looked at the route, there was what looked like a road that crossed it, and as we dug a little deeper, that road kind of diminished down to a track, to a pretty rugged hiking track. And because we committed to going to Albania to cross the Alps, we kind of didn't really have a choice. It's fucking, I don't know, it's pretty sketchy. It's just super icy and it's like big falls. And the dude's like fucked off.
He's gone.
He's way in front. Yeah, I'm fully not confident now, to be honest. It looks like they did all the way around. I mean, we can try, but I don't like it. Yeah, we just need to talk about it because, like, I don't want us like fucking sliding off the side of this thing. Just keep going.
It's pretty sketchy down here, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we should go back?
Pardon?
Do you think we should go
I don't know. We'll have a look, but it's
Yeah, okay, let's go have a look.
Is this the exact story you get when it's like, oh yeah, people went like hiking in the Albanian Alps and just disappeared and never saw them? you know you're really cold when like 500 meters from the hotel you just piss on your hands. And it's still, like I don't regret it at all. I'm not sure if I've ever been so cold in my life, like for such a long period of time. I've been like full shiver mode for like 2 hours, I think. Oh. We looked like the sorriest soul. We had to borrow some cash to pay the guide, and then we were like, we don't have any clothes. And then the hotel manager just knocked on our door with 5 sets of clothes. Now we're all like coordinated.
This is the best person we've run into the whole trip. Bringing hot food. The man bringing hot food and music.
Yeah. Thank you. Am I wearing his clothes? But Albania is very
gave us his clothes.
In Albania, you have good person anywhere. If you have need, if you need something, the people I help you all the time.
Yeah.
And if you have some problem or something like this, the people who is working, I stop what I work and I come with you and I help.
Yeah, yesterday
It's different from anywhere in the car, really. Yeah.
Yesterday.
We hiked over to Albania from there, which is considerably more epic than we expected.
Yeah, it was a little bit like it was a hiking equivalent of yesterday's ride.
We didn't plan to have a guide, and then it was like 7:30 last night, and it was like looking like it was going to be snow. And the guy who owned the cabin on the other side is like, you definitely need a guide because if there's snow, you won't know where to go. So he organised like super last minute to get this guy.
Yeah.
And he just like casually strolled up at like 7 a.m. It's like, all right, let's go. And the guide, like, he was like pushing ahead, like I said, but at the crucial moments, he was absolutely nowhere to be
You couldn't
seen.
see him.
Like we crossed one waterfall, and he was just like absolutely nowhere. So like for all we knew, he'd been like swept down. If you're someone who hikes, you would have looked at us today and been like, these fucking idiots.
And the other thing was we ran out of cash this morning. We didn't realise that like there's no way to withdraw money in a lot of these towns. Like they don't have that facility. And so we were right, but we ended up having to borrow money from the guy at the hotel so that we could get over to here to borrow money from this guy at the hotel to go back to pay the guy back over in theft, like and the guide, and then hope that family can get some money out down the hill and bring it up to pay this guy.
And because Femi's driving all the way around, he's going to be like 4 or 5 hours behind us.
He's had to go into like two
So
other
we have
countries in order to get here.
no dry clothes. And the guy who owns the hotel just rolled into the room with all these great clothes.
Yeah, dude, I'm wearing Calvin Klein jeans. And the clothes I'm wearing right now are better than the actual clothes that I was wearing before.
But he knows we're all full commando in these. Like, no one's wearing underwear.
Yeah, he didn't give us underwear. Like, he knows that.
He knows that.
He knew that. Still gave us his clothes.
Yeah.
What a legend. That's my favourite chord. It's called the top notch.
This thing's probably pretty old. Cool workout.
Today, we go down out of this valley to like 20 or 30k, and then we got to cross the border into Kosovo, and then we kind of like skirt along the edge of the mountains to Peha. And on the map they all look like good roads.
Yeah.
But then so did the other days.
What's the name of the town again? Whereabouts are we?
Srebrenica.
And I forgot.
What do you do for fun here?
Play ball. We are at Fusha doing football.
Soccer.
Yeah.
This is the field.
You guys are gonna go in?
Yeah.
It's time to go back in, guys.
Nice kid.
Yeah, they're up on the second floor. He caused a bit of ruckus at the old school there. So let's go to the comeback party.
Yeah, back to school.
I think a lot of people always expected me to do a lot in cycling, but I never really believed that a lot of it was just hype, and I sort of always knew that. Even when I turned in the World Tour, I didn't think I was good enough to really be there. So now I've done 4 seasons in the World Tour, and I haven't won a lot, but I've still achieved a career of sorts, which is kind of funny. I've enjoyed World Tour racing it's a really different lifestyle. It's very like singularly focused around one sort of thing. And like I know the level of commitment that it takes to be in the top of World Tour. And then I know like how much commitment I'm sort of willing to give without like impacting the rest of my life or like relationships and stuff. And like those two didn't really line up. If I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a World Tour cyclist now for the next 10 years and like go down that rabbit hole, I would have like destroyed a lot of the other things in my life.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, it's nice, you guys. Going taste for it.
Yeah. Still.
I just love it though, we haven't checked in. We just arrived and this is the first thing he offered us. More about it. That's what the doctor ordered.
Yeah. Kosovo. It's beautiful.
The boss to put some music on because it's so quiet in here. But we'll make some noise.
Yeah, I'm nervous too.
Especially knowing on top of that someone shot himself like right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of heavy.
Look at the bullets down.
Like the trigger's like lighter. Like I thought it was gonna be like, but it's just like this one like, holy fuck, it just went off.
You hear about guns every day, you're always around guns. But you never actually like hold them. And when you hold them, when you shoot them, it's like petrifying.
I think the weirdest thing is that this is under a hotel. I would never go to a shooting range unless it's under the hotel. And then you have to go. Like, you can't go to the hotel that has a shooting range and not go. This is when we work out that family isn't actually a translator, it's like an assassin.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, he works for the government or something. You watch, he just goes like, dum, 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 dum.
I have like 2 bullets in one hole. It's not a problem. Shooting is on the eye.
So we're at this little tea shop in Peja, and it was recommended, by like a local. So we stopped in and we just sat down with the owner. How long did you have the shop for?
It's like 6 years.
6 years.
6 years she's running this place.
Did you grow up here?
I read the page. He's from Rugova, of the monastery.
Oh yeah.
Up there. His father is from that place, and he's born there but grew up in Peja. I was here all the time. I know all the changes. And during the war also I was here. He used to be a sniper.
Oh, shit.
And
In
he
the
also has,
army?
this in the army during the war.
Like
But without work after the war, I didn't have any other chance, so I started my own business. It's not so good, but it's okay, he said.
Place is so dark and so grim looking. It's easy to dismiss it on that face value, but there's such a warmth underneath that. Like, it's a very thin veneer, and the people so far have been incredible. literally willing to give you the clothes off their back, willing to lend you their cash, willing to work based off of the trust that you will pay them at the end, despite the fact that you're not 100% sure how that's going to happen. And that's incredible. You know, you take for granted maybe. Our past and our future are pretty certain. And then you go to a place like that and they're like, yeah, we're due for a war. We're due for a good war, because like statistics say that, you know, for the last 3,000 years, we've had one kind of roughly every 25, 30 years, and we're coming up on that day. In a place like this, like life just goes on, despite all of these years of war and all of these years of turmoil and struggle.
That climb was amazing, man. Like, this is like, it's like being in like the Alps, man. Like, it's just like, we climbed over 1,000 meters in about 20 Ks or so, I think.
Normal, come sit like.
Amazing.
That will keep you.
Yeah, put it in the bottle.
You want?
Yeah.
Make you strong, like
You
bull.
want to mix some?
It's like a blackberry concentrate. Like he picks the blackberries here.
From up here?
And
From
they
you?
mix it with sugar.
Sugar?
Sugar full.
Yeah. Otherwise
No
it becomes
sugar.
like wine.
Vina, vera.
Yeah, right. Otherwise it becomes
Yeah, so it's good.
sweet berry wine.
Bicyclist smoking? Do you smoke?
No.
They cook in Moscow. Where are you going?
To Istanbul.
Skopje. They're in Istanbul.
Istanbul.
For us, the tours. Thank you.
And tell me about 2019.
I'm going to be racing with EF cycling team, which is actually where I started my professional career. We're basically going to mix like the world tour racing with the adventure stuff and alternative racing. So it's kind of like the dream scenario, like the things I've always wanted to do. So I'm really excited. The opportunity to combine like my two like passions within cycling and do it at like the highest level of both of those, like that opportunity I don't think will come again. It's easy to complain about a lot of things in world cycling. Like I feel like I've spent enough time like talking about the stuff I don't like about professional bike riding. So where it's like, okay, now I can actually do something about it. Like if you didn't do that, you're just kind of like a hypocrite, really. I would like to have some sort of impact on the sport as a whole. You know, like I love the sport, I love it, but it's kind of in like the professional arena, it's a little bit fucked. Like it's a bit shit. Things have been done the same way for like a really long time. And I like the tradition of the sport, but it's also what's like holding it back massively. So my motivation with racing now is it's not like to go and try and win the Tour de France, because I think like some people who win the Tour de France now like don't impact the sport in a positive way. So I think the contribution I can have to it through a different way that's not really results, that's kind of what motivates me. I'm looking forward to like the challenge of combining those things, and hopefully along the way like just making cycling a cooler, more popular sport, because I feel like it should be.
What? How do you do that?
You might be able to. If I bend it, it might just snap. And then I just want to make sure it's not gonna.
Yeah.
If it snaps
Just
here.
don't use it.
Yeah.
You can pedal. I would.
No, I can pedal.
You can pedal. I don't think we should touch it.
Check these out. They're new, but they're like 20 years old. But that's like they're like brand new. Like these are like the shoes I started with. They're like brand new, dude.
Speeder.
No problem.
So how long have you had this place for?
1 month.
So you've only been open 1 month?
Yeah.
Where'd you collect all these cycling jerseys? Like, where'd you get all the old stuff from?
I keep from Europe, from Swiss, from Denmark.
So you've just collected it over the years?
I have friends here from Skopje, from everywhere, and they're searching for me.
After stepping my chainring today, we like went into this little cafe and met a whole bunch of new friends. And they saw that like my chainring was bent, and they're like amazingly insistent that they get it fixed. So this is the first stop, and they said if we can't fix it here, they're gonna drive it like 50 k's to another town to fix it. And it was one of those things I was like, yeah, don't worry guys, like I'll be able to work it out. But they were like on the bike, bringing it here and like getting it out. So here we are. It looks like the local shop. It looks pretty epic. I think the intent is there. I'll be very surprised if we can hammer this chainring straight, but you know what, like stranger things have happened already today. This shelf, man. Is there a lot of people riding?
Not too much.
No, not too many people cycling.
Oh
man,
Not the problem falls off.
he's got the whole handbag.
Yeah, compagnon.
Oh shit.
What year is this? It's brand new, man. It's never been used.
I like it.
Yeah, you're gonna bend the small one. I think I'd rather not. Because you're bending the inside one. And then I really will be fucked. Honestly, this chainring, I'm going to change it in 2 days. I'd rather he didn't touch it anymore. See, the problem is, like now he's bent the inside chainring. It was straight before. So it's worse now. And now the small one's bent, and if that's bent, then I really am in trouble. Even if he gets it straight, it's going to bend again because the chainring's...
It's already bent.
It's already... So like it's better he doesn't... There's no point... It's only if there's a new one, then like I can put that on. But I can get one in Greece, so let's just leave it now. I appreciate you helping. But like even if he gets it straight, this one's useless. It's gonna bend again. Already 100 kilometers like this today. It was fine. No, we don't. I'm not going to use it. Just like. It's fine. It's fine. It's better for sure, but in 2 days I'll change it.
No, it looks like
Yeah.
And this glad it's not raining or snowing, so I'm happy. But yeah, like some days less so than others. Morning coffee schooner. I've been doing instant coffee all year actually. I just had this brainwave moment of like, I was trying to do an AeroPress and I was like, I waste so much time first thing in the morning, like trying to make this stupid AeroPress when I could just get some hot water, pour it in a cup and drink it. You grow a taste for it, I think. If people complain about it, you just gotta give it a bit of time. Just accept that like that's how coffee's gonna taste from now on.
It's about experiencing different countries through riding a bike, which I think is the best way to explore a country. Or for me, I enjoy exploring by bike, to get like a slow feel for it as you like travel through it. That's the big appeal of these trips, is like going into a place, doing something you love while discovering something new. You would never do something like this otherwise, you know? Like I spend my days like back in Girona still exploring on the bike and still finding new places like every second day, you know. I would never come to any of these countries otherwise, you know, to be honest, like it never would have been on my radar. It pushes you to do something new, and that doesn't have to be physical, you know. It just takes you to like a total new place, and like those, every time you push yourself, I think something comes out of it, you know, and eventually it's positive. So yeah, I mean, if I was trying to like win the Tour de France next year, I probably wouldn't come and do this, but I'm not.
So it's a memorial to this. I guess this town was the first town to revolt against the Ottomans. When was it? I think it was like 1903, 1902 or something. And then they got taken over by the Ottomans and they failed. But it sparked off the rest of the independence movement. And so this and the rest of this kind of hill are like in memory of that, I guess.
Must be pretty important because this is pretty big.
Dude,
and like we haven't seen many nice buildings since we've been on this trip.
No, there's been no monuments of any kind except for mosques and
like
churches.
Sure, those churches are like super nice, but this is like a new like it's look at this thing.
Thank you. Just tell him to do what he feels like, except shave it. Let's just, yeah. I don't know how to communicate. How long has he been a hairdresser for?
2 years ago.
40 years. Wow. This shop is from 67, 1967.
He's had cut. Actually, I would say observation was probably the first step. Observation.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they had to go back and forth agreeing on what haircutting was going to get. Negotiation. Then there was the cut. Then the shave. No, there was cut, then layer.
Yeah.
Shave. 2 stations of the shave. Then there was the. Now there's a hairdryer. When was the last time you had gel in your hair?
Oh, dude, like year 6 formal. Year 6 formal, I had frosted tips, I think. You like it? Perfect. This is so good. Yeah, okay. Nice one. Alright, back now. Oh, back, yeah.
The final station.
Oh, dude, the back's good too. There's a bit of body there.
Side view.
Oh, side view. There's a bit of body in the back. I like that. Yeah.
That's right.
The back's my favourite bit. Can I stand up now? Thank you. So good.
I'm just going to try and get there as easy as possible today. As easy, as fast as possible. Because, yeah, when I scheduled this trip, we were supposed to have a day off, like the day after tomorrow.
But somewhere in the process we've lost that day. So try and take it easy. Tomorrow's really big. And actually it's pretty much, they're all big days now until we get to Istanbul. This is a traditional ancient Greek duel.
This is a duel. This is like the gladiators going to war. As old as the Olympics. So we're suffering for other people's pleasure. So I hope you fucking appreciate it.
Greece today. We decided that we're going to race the mountain, which is 1,800 meters tall. We're going to climb to the top of it from sea level. I have a 10-minute head start. 10 seconds. The loser, so if Lockie doesn't catch me, then he has to swim in the ocean. If I am caught, then Femdog and I have to swim. Femi and I have to swim, and Femi's just already really fucked off with that, actually. He's like,
You're gonna swim twice, man. One for me, one for himself.
I will report you to the authorities. I will turn you in. Brother versus brother. It seemed like a much better idea yesterday.
Strava record's an hour 28. Oh fuck, big chain ring.
10 minutes is a very long time. And just like riding over here, I realize how cold it is. I really don't want to swim. What's worse, like swimming in the ocean or just going flat out up this hill for like an hour and a half? Like, but is that what's worse? Gus brought this on himself. 2:23. That's it. So I'm not even. I think if we forced Febby to swim, he might quit. He's so far gone. 2 minutes? 3? Damn. I could have made 60 instant coffees in this time.
15 seconds.
Go?
5 seconds.
5? I don't want to jump the start. I don't want to be DQ'd on this.
Go!
I think I can catch him, but I think it's going to be actually really hard. The other day we finished up that climb and we had the race, but this is going to suit Gus better because we're fresh, so it's like there's no riding before. I think it's going to be an evenly matched event, unless Gus just like immediately took a wrong turn and is currently time trialing his way across Greece. It's also very possible.
That's it.
What? No.
Across the top. The top is there.
No, the top was here. Sorry, mate.
Oh, you stopped pedaling too.
No, you guys
Yeah, I said
are
that.
you and I finished.
Into the ocean for Gus.
No, I'm not calling my boss.
That's a loss.
That was a fucking epic climb.
That was such a hard climb.
Holy shit. As much as I hated riding that hard up there, I'm quite glad we did that.
Oh dude, I'm so glad we did that. We could have very easily just been like...
It was nearly too hard.
But... And we both broke the record.
Did we?
Got it. It's prepared by the portion. Yes, this one. And this, all of it. It's all
catfish. And this has just come from here.
Yes, before 10 minutes ago.
And we're going to eat this now.
Spanje.
Huh? Is this the fish that we're going to eat?
Yes.
So we're going to eat this?
Yes, yes.
Catfish. This is the catfish that just outside?
Yes,
Fried in like 10 minutes later. We can go from this end.
Careful.
There's one for each.
There's a lot of bones in here. Fuck, that's pretty good. Yeah? Yeah, it's good. Better than the little fried things we had before.
Here we have Intenso Gold instant coffee. Not my preferred Nescafe, but it's getting the job there. So most people, you know, waste time with actually pulling the top off. Don't worry about that. Just stick your thumb through, as long as it can free pour out. Save a bit of time there. A lot of other people also like to waste their time scooping that with the spoon. You're definitely going to lose time there, so just go with the free pour. Just eye it, you know. It's an experience thing, trial and error. You know, just feel it out. You want a decent amount. You don't want to be skimping on the strength, but do we want to act quite strong. I prepared this kettle earlier because there was one available here. I'm not against the kettle, but you definitely don't need one. Warm water out of the tap will do just fine also. You can give it a little stir. It doesn't need a stir. If you're feeling fancy, just stir it on up. If you don't have a spoon, just use your finger.
Have you crashed?
No. Yeah, I crashed the first day. We were at the Kavala International Airport.
International? I thought it was domestic.
Or domestic airport. Picking up Juan Antonio Fletcher.
Yeah.
Who I think his name speaks for itself. But yeah, he wanted to come, couldn't come for the first part, so he just texted us and said, I'll be in Kavala on this date. Here he is.
I never been out on a bike trip. Every time I was out for cycling was either competing or for work. So this was more like a fun bike ride with some mad people to do.
I'm just I'm amazed you're so just willing to come and do this with us. Well, basically we're going to ride along the front of these mountains here and then just turn left and go straight up into Bulgaria.
Rookie mistake. Didn't tie the pedals and now I...
I think you should wait, if you see Well, it's good to know that you definitely belong on this trip then.
Yeah. In Argentina, cycling back then wasn't such a popular sport. It wasn't a sport that you could watch it on TV or even read about it in magazines. I'm Juan Antonio Fletcher. I come from Barcelona, although I was born in Argentina. And I work on TV now, covering bike races. As a kid, I remember moving around a lot on my bike in town, so going to places by bike and was the fun of it, just cruising. I was maybe 7 years old. I got my road bike for Christmas and I started racing. It was all about freedom. I think freedom and going to places. My dad died when I was 4 years old. Then my mom married someone who was Spanish, so then they decided to move to Spain, and that was when I realized how important cycling was. And that's when I decided, well, that's what I want to do. Back then I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. So it didn't matter how good I was. It was just like, well, this is what I want to do. So I'm gonna keep doing it, no matter what the outcome is. I was not convinced until maybe my second year professional, third year. I was always thinking and considering that there might be a chance there that I will go back to uni after 2 years. It was not just signing the contract and saying, okay, that's gonna be for the next 10 years. That was a goal, but I didn't know, so it was always room for that. And yeah, I ended up being 14 years there. I was treated as a fool in Spanish cycling scene, let's say. Like when I signed up for Banesto, it was the team presentation, and I was young, so this famous former cyclist, Pedro Delgado, he was presenting it. I walked on stage and he took the piece out of me big time, because he said, okay, what's your favorite race? And I said, I want to be good in Roubaix and Flanders. And he started laughing at me, and everyone there on stage, everyone there was like, it's not gonna happen, man. I mean, come on, you're Spanish, you're never gonna be good there. At the end, it happened. I happened to be quite decent on that. And first results that came to my mind are podiums there, 3 times in the podium.
Was it the one that got away?
Definitely, but that was it, and maybe I wasn't that good enough to win it. I don't regret that at all. And I cannot deny being at the podium wasn't a nice thing. That was wonderful, it was great, but that's not the point. I mean, the point was the race itself and the love for Roubaix, for the cobbles, more than what you were achieving there.
Tough, but so much fun. It was tough because it was more climbing than I personally expected, but it was beautiful. Some stunning roads and great company, obviously. I might have eaten like 5 Snickers today, so I'm looking forward for some proper meat and a good meal.
This shower's exactly like the first few nights we've had, where they just have a shower head in the middle of the toilet, and like it just goes, So like, in theory, you could take a shit and have a shower at the same time.
You tried that yet?
But it's hot, and I don't think hot water's gonna last long, so I'm just gonna use it.
Go for it.
Immediately. Actually, this kid. It must be such a different experience if you start cycling at a young age in Europe.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of proud about having started somewhere else.
Right.
Because it's like, it was quite unique. When I got to Europe, it's like, oh, the bikes, you can actually shift on the bikes. It was like, it was single speed.
Yeah.
And how does it work? And all the rest had rules as well. Like Europe was way more regulated. So I remember going to the bike race. It's like, oh, socks, they have to be white. They cannot be.
You can't have black socks.
No, big shoes. They have to be that length.
Yeah, right. Did you ever go back?
No. 2003 was the last time.
Really?
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
Fucking lamb. So thick.
Today we're crossing into Greece and then into Turkey
to Erdene. It's about 150k, 140k, fuck, who knows, no one knows. The Bulgarian lamb's got him.
Big time.
Any luck?
Better.
Better?
Yeah. It was just here.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, like rice and lamb. 12 hours later. Like,
just came out looking insane.
This lifestyle's not for everyone.
fuck.
You look a little pale.
It was. I bet I do.
Oh well, better out than in. Taste.
So I'm not gonna have lamb
good the second time.
Still have some in the
Sweet.
car if you want to.
Yeah, there's some more. You can top up.
No, please.
There's like we still got like 2 kilos.
I don't want to get any near that.
Oh yes.
There's an amazing amount of like parallels, I feel like, between Flecker's career and then mine. So his first massive win was in the 2003 Tour de France, and I was there like with my family on holiday, and that was the first time I saw like how big cycling was, and the first time I realized like that could be a career, like you could do that for a living. So that's when I decided I wanted to be a professional bike rider, and then I spent, I guess, all those years like getting to a level where I turned professional, to where like our careers like crossed for 1 year. We used to emulate like his victory salute, like with the bow, and like he was just a hero. But to have him here on like a Thereabouts trip is kind of really funny, because like he's saying like he's inspired by like what we've done, when the whole reason I sort of turned professional was like, you know, through experiencing the highs of his career. So it's this weird crossover, and so to have him like riding along here, like wearing a t-shirt, and like it's really funny, you know. It's kind of weird, but it's like amazing at the same time.
Some bubbles. Not some sugar. I feel like sick still. I feel like my stomach is just like.
Poor old Juan has succumbed. I'm surprised he lasted this long. He succumbed to the land. Should be right. I'm just thankful it's not me, to be honest. If I'm really going to be totally honest.
Selfish prayer.
Exactly, mate. I feel great. I feel fine.
Not good. No bueno. God.
Get pulled up at the border and strip searched? Course we will.
Someone was writing a book about Flanders, can't remember which year, and he started interviewing me like, oh, what do you remember about that race? What do you remember about? Honest, I couldn't remember anything. And I was like, hold on a second. Tour of Flanders was one of my main goals of the season. How it come that I cannot remember anything about it? I couldn't. So that's it, right? Like competing is nice and it gives you a lot of adrenaline sometimes, it gives you many nice things, but it's not the point really at the end. The way I see you guys riding, it's the factor number one of cycling. All the rest are important, but that's the priority. That's something that never should be damaged. But all that soul, all that essence of it, that's what is nice about it. And I could feel it. The first day we were riding, it was there. It's just being connected with that and experiencing that is the nicest thing I've done in years.
Rain. Oh wait, are we staying on the sea?
Yeah, we are. I gotta swim.
Finally, Gus is gonna swim.
Oh my god, it's gonna be freezing cold.
It's gonna be cold. That's right.
How do I look like today? More healthy?
There's far more colour in your face.
Okay. Although I'm still covering it up.
Far more talkative.
Colour in your face and far less lamb in your throat.
Yeah. That's good, that's good.
Yesterday We encountered a little trouble at the border. They had to x-ray our car, and then Femi and I had to drive like 30 kilometers to another border where they put it in a giant x-ray machine.
So good. Why do I have to? What problem?
Well, it's not a problem. I travel all over the world with
No, Turkish rules problem.
Okay, so I can leave then.
Gelsin tercüman. Sen gel burada tercümanlık yap ya. Kim ne yapacakmış? Neye karar verdin? Neye karar verdin?
What? You want to leave the camera?
Pick it up. Turkish rules, camera problem.
Okay. You just wanted to hang out.
I guess the Border Patrol agent had a turn of heart and decided that he liked us. And as a result of like making us go through all this like annoying process, he said, "I'll pay you back." And so when we got back, the border agent, like full straight face, just like went to Nate, "You and the camera go, or the camera stays and you can go in." And Nate was like, "What the fuck?" And Femi wasn't translating it. He's like, "What are you going to do about it?" So it was cruel, but funny, ultimately. So yeah, it took us a few hours. Didn't get in till late. Torrential rain last night. It was partial flooding. And this morning, fortunately, some blue skies. So on we go. Second last day of the trip.
So that's the sort of road you hear like someone getting hit on. Yeah. And you're like, of course they got hit. How weird to have fun, and all of a sudden you do something like this, you're like, wait, I think I missed the point.
Yeah, exactly. That's not long.
Just kind of like chopping off or trying to motor pace, and you're like, wait, we're just trying to get to the destination. The whole purpose is the journey.
Exactly.
The second that stops is, what are you doing it for? Missed the point. Yeah. We're trying to negotiate with a taxi driver to drive us from here to Istanbul, which is more or less 100k. Initially we were going to ride from here another 50 k's on this highway to a spot on the coast and catch a ferry in, because apparently it's like a shit show to go into Istanbul proper on a bike. But it turns out even at like 100 kilometers out or 90 kilometers out, it's also a shit show to ride in on a bike. So yeah, we're gonna try and get a taxi. We'll see how it goes. There's a bit of like negotiating going on, a bit of haggling at the gas station counter, and obviously we don't speak Turkish, so we don't understand any of it. So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
We're in Istanbul. We're with our friend Mark, and when we told him that we were doing this route, he suggested we come and finish here, as this is kind of like the historical end of the spice route. And because we never made it, he felt that he should bring us down here to the Grand Mosque to ceremoniously complete the route. So in this beautiful, rainy, windy day, that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
And then that's the trip. That's it, done. Getting so close to Istanbul and then not actually being able to ride in kind of sucks. In the end, Istanbul was just a point that we picked on the map because, you know, these things have to come to an end, but the reality is that It's what happens as you're going along that's important. And you know, it's not like we were climbing Mount Everest or we were crossing Antarctica. It's not the destination, it's not the feat itself that's important. For us, it's that experience that you have, and it's what goes on the road that shapes the journey and that gives it purpose.
You have this idea of like what like Albania and like Bulgaria, like these countries that like you kind of only ever read about, and they don't really seem like the places you really want to go. But like the people along the way were just like amazingly welcoming, which I didn't expect at all. Everywhere you go, people are good, or they are good people, which like you kind of forget sometimes, and that becomes like a massive barrier to like coming to do something like this, I think, because you're like, oh well, you know, like I don't want to get rolled by some, you know, guy in Bulgaria for like all my shit. But like the reality is, it's like, you know, the guy who stayed in Bulgaria was like one of the nicest people you could meet. Like I took a lot from that. Once you get out there and do it, you kind of like it's a big world, and like there's a lot of excuses you can come up with not to do it. But the reality is most of it's bullshit.
There's also one thing left.
I've still got to swim.
It ain't over till the fat boy swims.
So, we've left Istanbul and we're currently driving back to Montenegro to return the hire car. And as we drove out of Istanbul yesterday, we sort of felt like the trip hadn't ended properly. I guess the premature finish, the chaos of the weather and everything in Istanbul meant that we kind of didn't really have a ceremonial end to the trip, and I couldn't work out why that feeling remained. And then I realized that I still had some unpaid debts from earlier in the week. I lost the bet to be the first to the top of the mountain in Greece, and as a result I was supposed to jump in the ocean. And so here we are on the Greek coastline. It's 5 degrees Celsius, and I'm gonna go and jump into the ocean. I never pay on time, but I always pay.